Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and today we're looking at probing weaknesses. We are in the T34-2. This is a Tier 10 game on Sacred Valley. I really like this game simply because I'm the bottom tier in a Tier 10 game, Tier 8 and a Tier 10, and the gameplay is very deliberate. There's not a lot of rushing. No one really jumps out in front of you making easy targets. A lot of it is just pretty solid decisions, and if you make these solid decisions over and over and over again, they greatly increase your chances of winning. And a lot of times people eschew this type of replay for something that's definitely more exciting, but I think that's doing people a great disservice because games like this are the games that really matter. Think about all of your games where you didn't do incredibly well and you didn't do incredibly poorly. Those make up, what, 80-odd% of your games? And a fair amount of the time, you're going to find yourself as bottom tier. So you need to learn how to make yourself effective in these games. So right now you can see I'm just sitting in a bush. The T34-2 has a fairly decent view range, and my Type 59 crew is in here, so I have the view range skills on my crew. I do have vents enabling just a tiny bit farther view range as well. The big thing here is I'm not camping. I'm participating in the game by using this view range. I can definitely spot people that some others can't, and I'm waiting to seize opportunities. When you're bottom tier, you can't exactly leap forward into the action. You simply don't have the hit points or the defensive capabilities. Speaking of defensive capabilities, you notice that I moved after I shot without Sixth Sense going off. I have Sixth Sense on the tank. However, in the current metagame, you'll often get shot before Sixth Sense goes off, so it's very smart to just assume that you're visible the second you're shot. What I'm learning here with these past couple shots of not getting spotted is that there are no one within the 7 line. I don't think there's anyone within 400 meters of me. So already that's something you should take with you. I'm forming a mental map of where people are. And I'm saying, okay, I can't be spotted, so I don't think there's anyone within the 7 line of me. The person on the map on the 5 line is actually over some hills. We spot a couple people here on the mini-map on the 6 line. I'm taking some shots at this T28. So we're just gaining more information as it goes on. All of this information is going to become useful later. As people die, they open up the map. Once I spot somewhere where I can get an opportunity, I will move up, but right now it's just a little bit too congested to do so. The strategy for Sacred Valley, whether it's standard or whether it's encounter, typically focuses on 2 areas. One is the push through the north ridge, and the other one is the view range struggle within the center. Personally, I tend towards view range struggles and gaining dominance in the vision game. However, if you like peekaboom, definitely go towards the north side. I have the 122 equipped on the T34-2. This gun is characterized by being very, very derpy. It snapshots so incredibly terribly, but it does have 390 alpha. Now looking around, I see that we do have a lead in tanks, and so I'm moving up. The rest of the team will move with me more or less, but we have to reestablish our position in this new situation. What that means is previously, to get this advantage, our tanks were in the right spot in relation to the enemy. We had people doing good spotting, we had the right tanks in the right areas to kill the enemy, but now as we move up, we've lost those advantages. We're not in the same advantageous spots anymore. We're not spotting the right places anymore because the locations of the enemy has shifted and the locations of us has shifted. So here I'm just kind of working my way around the hills, trying to figure out where I need to be. I tried to head up to the middle. I didn't exactly like what I saw there. and I didn't like the path that I was forced to take. So I'm kind of working my way around here. I know there are some bushes, and then I'm just going to peek and see if I can't spot a couple tanks on the other side of these bushes. One of the things that I'm really trying to work on in my game right now is I'm trying to work the clock a little bit better. I'm not trying to rush the action. Now you see that a couple teammates have died, and that's due to us losing those advantageous positions that I talked about earlier. As you move forward, now the enemy actually is in an advantageous position relative to us, and we drop 4 tanks incredibly quickly. I do get the shot on an M60 right there, and I back off a little bit because I don't really want to rush the action. We need to reestablish ourselves, and I decide right now that I don't want to square off against an M60, and I'm just kind of pulling back to reevaluate the situation. So taking a glance at the mini-map, the game is very much in doubt. The person up in town on the south on my screen is going to get worked on our team. However, hopefully we're going to take one of them out too. And there's a person in a brawl situation up north on the city. The situation is clarifying in our favor a little bit. We do take out 2 tanks here. However, Sacred Valley is a very swingy map, allowing a good defender to bleed the opposition. That's why when we advanced before, we were met with such resistance. The T-69 in front of me is losing patience. That's just a move where he smells blood in the water, he wants to kill a guy, and he actually does get the kill. However, he could have gotten the kill in a slightly different way. He lost hit points unnecessarily. Those are the types of situations that you want to collect over a game, and that's what I talked about, working the clock. There are some people who can play great for 5 minutes. There are people who can play great for 10 minutes, but can they play great for all 15? There are very, very few people out there, and that's what I'm looking to pick. I'm looking to pick up a shot of damage here and a shot of damage there. So once again, we go up by 3 tanks, and once again, we go right back to even. So I'm probing the weaknesses down here. It opened up a little bit. I actually spot Artie. I do take a shot of damage there, but I spot Artie. Great. It allows our team to take Artie out, and I establish the position of the enemy 110 and a medium in the middle. I'm kind of disappointed to look on the minimap and see that I'm all alone here, and so I definitely back off, and that's one of the things that you want to make sure is that you have an escape route. Try not to commit if you don't need to, and I definitely didn't need to there. So I know there's an M10 on the ledge, and there's that M60 there. I don't really want to get stuck in a crossfire, so I retreat back to teammates and back to what I know is a safe position. So our advantage going forward is going to be of the slow variety. We have artillery and they do not. A T-69 pops up in the city, and I don't pull back into cover here because I've decided I want to take him out. I actually bounce one off of his turret. All of the gun choices on the T-34-2 have the same problem, where if you're not fully aimed in, it won't hit the right spot, and even if you are aimed in, you're going to penetrate like a third of the time. All of the guns on this thing are just gross. So I can't spot him, and my team really isn't following me around that little ravine where I was going before, so I decided to do something different. Don't try to make your team conform to you, because that's like herding cats. There's an E-75 going around the North Ridge, and I decide, hey, if I spot targets for him, that's going to allow him to do a lot of good. Or if he spots targets for me, maybe I can get a shot. Artillery is reloading here, so I don't want to risk myself unnecessarily. An E-75 does come up, and I decide that I will risk it, and I will sit here, because if I do hit, I can take him out. I aim a little bit to the right, and I bounce it off of a building. Thankfully, he misses, though, too. The direction that he's moving is very telling. He's moving towards what he perceives as safety. He's not moving towards us, either myself or the E-75, so I assume that there are teammates behind him. I do know the T-69 is in the south town. I do know the 110 was camping that ridge, and now we spot the Patton as well. So we know where 4 out of the 5 tanks are for sure. So my team is definitely moving up to engage, and I'll try to spot for them. Artillery is one of the good kind of artillery. He's actually moving because he knows he has absolutely no shots here. So I really don't want to risk myself. I load a heat round simply because I know that I can't even pen the underside of the E-75 unless I use the premium round. I spot the 110 for my teammates. They get a nice shot on him, and everything is slowly going well. My platoon mate takes a blind shot at the 110 and actually scores a kill, greatly helping our cause. Now when the T-69 pops up, I actually make a mistake here. I should have let artillery and our team kind of get some shots in on him, blind or otherwise, before I advance, because their focus is gone. So now if you look at my team, they're all on the other side of the mountain. I really can't do anything. However, I spot an E-75 who's completely naked, and I'm able just to take him out. I screw up and get super lucky there. He could have killed me if he rolled just a little bit higher. However, I do get a little over-aggressive. I take him down to 5%, basically sealing the game for this point, because both of them are incredibly low. I finished the game with a very unspectacular 1800 damage dealt and 1500 damage spotted. However, the information that I was able to give my team on enemy movements far outweighed actual damage dealt or damage spotted. These games come up all the time, and it's really important that you know how to turn them in your favor. Hope you learned something. Happy hunting.